Hi friends, my name is Jake. Welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge, and we've got a fixed blade from Kansept. I think this is my first fixed blade from Kansept. This is an Ostap Hel design. Ostap Hel is my favorite knife designer, and I like to get all the knives that he designs, except for the fact he designs some more premium knives that I just can't afford. If you want to buy me one, I'd gratefully and graciously accept it. But no, I'm not trying to pressure anybody to do that. I had one person once give me a knife, a Benchmade Griptilian. So, hey, it does happen, but I don't get an awful lot given to me that way. Sometimes knife companies give me a knife to review. Doesn't happen very often, but it does happen every once in a while. Most of them are really scared now to give knives to Canadian reviewers. And, so it just doesn't happen that much. And individuals, I don't know, something's got to, click in something and then somebody sends something, but it doesn't happen very often. I'm not complaining, not at all. I've got a great life. Those of you who know me, I live on a disability pension. I do this YouTube thing, one, to pass the time, two, to help people who are looking for low-cost knives to be able to find out should they buy it. And I try to give you all the details of the thing so that you can make a completely informed decision so that when you get it, there's no surprises, no disappointments. That's what I'm going to do for you on this knife. So stick around. We're going to take a look at the HEX Ostap Hel design by Kansept Knives, coming to you right now. I almost never do this, but I'm going to begin with an apology. I'm so sorry if the introduction inspired you to consider this knife for purchase. Don't. Just don't. It's sad. Ostap Hel, like I was saying in the introduction, is my favorite knife designer. I had big hopes for this thing. It looks cool. It's quite comfortable in hand. You could even get your thumb behind there, because that's pretty thick back there. If you needed to cut through something hard, you get your finger over here. If you need to do something delicate with the tip, it's so easy to carry around the neck. It holds well. A little bit of play, not much, but just stick your pinky in there, pull it out, and it's ready to be used. You can even use it as a shiv. No, don't do that. But yeah, it's got so much potential. Overall, the design of this thing, I'm really enjoying the design of this thing, except for how stinking thick it is. This blade right here, you've got this full thickness, well over 1/8 of an inch, and then you've got this tiny short distance to come down to an edge, but it doesn't come down to a thin edge. This is 44 thousandths thick right behind, where it's sharpened. And it was sharpened just terribly. Maybe you can even see it from there, how wide it is here and how much more narrow it is there. And the heel of this thing has got a very flat edge. Just that tiny spot there at the edge there. So somebody touched the sharpening just on the end of it here, that little bit, and just at the edge of it, it's just super blunt. And then on this side, it's thinner. If you look down on it this way, it's not centered, not even close. It's so terrible that I just cannot recommend this knife for this one thing. This blade, maybe leave the whole stem, this thick to start with, but give it a Scandi grind right down to a 0 degree edge. Like no edge bevel, just one main bevel right down to an edge. And then this thing could be useful. And that's what I'm going to do to this thing. I'm going to put a Scandi grind edge on this thing, and then I'm going to keep it. But for now, from the factory, the way it is, no, I just don't recommend it. Do you want to hear more? Okay, let's talk more about it. The sheath, we've got nice, thin, light Kydex, works quite well. Riveted, 4 rivets in there. We've got this black ball chain. I'm not sure if there's other colors with the other ones. This whole thing comes 4 different colors. You can get it in this stone wash. That's the most economical way. You can get it with a super deep green coating. That's version number 2. They don't say what the coating is. Or you can get it in this neon green, this electric green coating. They don't say what the coating is. Or you can get it with a black titanium coating. The price goes between $39 and $42. Of course, at White Mountain Knives, if you want to get it, all 4 of them are in stock. You can get 10% off there with coupon code CCE. That saves you around $4. And, that's 10%, so that's pretty good. let's put the sheath to the side. Let's talk a little bit about this design. We've got this hex hole. It's not a perfect hex. The sides aren't all of equal length. It's sort of been elongated, like this side here's been stretched down just a little bit, but easily gets a pinky finger in there. Gets, my thumb in there, no problem. Everything's chamfered everywhere. Got jimping. There's some jimping there for your index finger to grab on. And then there's some jimping right there at the end of the handle to, help give you a grip. And some jimping on the spine of the blade right there. Nice angles, a swedge up here. That's just sort of a decorative kind of swedge. It helps bring these two lines, this line and this line, down to a tip. So that's a decorative effect. Very well done. And, it stays full thickness up to here. And so it's just that last little bit that comes down to the tip. That's a super, super strong blade right there. Like, you could use this thing as a prying tool all day long and you're not going to break it. Of course, you might dull the edge a bit, but you're not going to break it. The badging on it, well, we've got the Kansept logo right there, nice and small. On this part right here, we've got the model number, G001A1, that's for the stonewash version, and then it says 14C28N. And underneath here, it says Ostap Hel HEX. So yeah, the badging's nice and small, but everything's on there. You got all the information you want. I'm happy with that. Can we do a teardown? No, there's nothing to tear down. On to the next part. Let's do all the dimensions and stuff on this knife. I'm not going to do all the dimensions. I'll do some of the dimensions. The weight of this thing, 35 grams, 1.23 ounces. The sheath with the chain, 18 grams, 0.63 ounces. Everything, 53 grams, 1.87 ounces. Sharpness from the factory, 200 best. Not very good at all. The cutting edge length, 48.9 millimeters, 1.93 inches. Blade length, that's between my thumbnails there, 56.5 millimeters, 2.23 inches. How thick is the steel? 3.9 millimeters, 1.54. Oh, that drives me nuts. Junk phone calls. Angry. Okay. Blade depth, 19.1 millimeters, 0.75 of an inch. The thickness behind the grind, so that's just behind the very edge of the bevel where the tip of my fingernail there is right there. 1.12 millimeters thick, 44 thousandths of an inch. That's more than twice as thick as the thickest that I recommend. Does that make sense to you? So like on most knives, right at the very edge right there, I want it to be under 20 thou thick. This thing's 44 thou thick. That's just nuts. Grind angles. This is important too. This side's got an average of 26.7 degrees. This side's got an average of 28.1 degrees. Started over here at 27.6, ended at 28.7, 1.1 degrees of change along the length. It's not even 2 inches, and it's straight. And they couldn't give it they couldn't, I can hardly even say that they couldn't even stay within 1 degree. Frustrating. This side started at 26.3, ended at 27.1. Maybe it's supposed to come down to a thinner edge and then be sharpened. Maybe the person just sharpened until it got super thick. I don't know. I can only look at the pictures and they all look very similar to this. So it looks like, Kansept made it thick like that on purpose. I hope not. Do you have one of these? Do you have a way of measuring how thick it is behind the grind? Let me know how thick yours is. That's just behind that bevel. So you can see the stonewash section. So where the stonewash ends and the grind right there ends, on both sides together, try to measure that if you can. And man, I really wish it was under 20 thou. Under 0.5 millimeter thick right there, but 1.12 millimeters. The rest of the measurements don't really make much of a difference. That is about 9 centimeters, about 3.5 inches. The total length of this thing, around 146 millimeters, 5 3/4 inches total. That's enough for the measurements. What do I think of this thing? I think it's a great design. I think it's really cool. I love the angles. It's going to be an excellent knife someday, but it isn't today. Not the way it came out of the factory. I just cannot recommend this unless that's what you want. If you want something that has these dimensions at the edge and stuff, then go for it. Buy one of these. I think there's a reason why they're not sold out. I'm going to be sharpening this. It's going to take me time. I'm going to bring it down to a Scandi grind, right to a 0 degree bevel. No edge grind at all, just one main bevel all the way down. So I'm going to get rid of this whole section, this whole section here. It's going to lose the stone wash, and it's going to come down to the edge in one bevel. So the main bevel and the edge bevel are going to be the same thing. I might do a tiny, tiny micro bevel. I don't know yet, but we'll see. And I'll do a separate video and show you that. If you can do that and you want to do that, then maybe after you see the video, you can decide to do that when you see that, or you can decide to do that right now. It's totally up to you. You can do what you want, right? It's your life. You do what you want. So there you go. That's the knife. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate my supporters. You guys are simply stunning. Thank you for your monthly support. And those of you who just want to donate one time, maybe you can use that buy me a coffee option. Links for all that stuff are down below, and I'll leave it in the comments section as well to make it easy for you to support the channel. I appreciate it an awful lot. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.